And just like that, it came, it went. I got so much content to cover, so many topics to talk about. I'm just getting started. You guys have been with me, so you guys are gonna get this work. I promise you, I'm not going anywhere. We're gonna keep building the right way over here. But listen, before we get to all 8 picks, 7 rounds of coverage, the Cowboys class is done, and they have undrafted free agents that they will be bringing in. So I'll be excited to see that, the full class. I gotta say, this by far was the most authentic celebration, and not just because he's from the DMV, but this was just real. This was just truly him being him. Check this out by Kaylin Carson, y'all.
Fuck, you're doing that shit. Come on, man. I've been doing this shit, man. Come on. Stop playing with me. Come on, man. Stop playing with me, man. Come on. I've been doing this shit. I've been doing this shit. Nah, I've been doing this shit. Come on, stop playing with me. Come on, man. Let's go.
I gotta be honest. When you talk about a DMV kid, that celebration is what you gonna get. You gonna get a kid that day one, he coming in with smoke. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go. So as we look at the whole class, as we look at this class as a body, I try to look for themes. I try to look for what the Cowboys were trying to target and areas of their team that they were trying to improve. National media may say Dallas didn't get any weapons. National media probably will say Dallas should have got a running back. The Cowboys seem to be a step ahead normally when it comes to their drafts. And I got to say, this class was about physicality. This class was about overcorrecting some of the things that they have not been doing well. And I thought that this was an A-plus draft. And when it came to value in the middle of this draft, I thought that this was an A-plus draft. And even the Kaylin Carson pick was really an A-plus pick for me because I had a 2-3 on the player. So when it came to value, when it came to having a plan, not following the national narrative's plan, not following the fans' plan, but when it came to having their own plan and seeing it through, I thought the Cowboys did a great job. Let's start off with the Tyler Guyton pick. Let's go through all 8 picks, all 7 rounds. But I thought that getting Mike Zimmer what he needed was a big theme in his draft. Getting Mike Zimmer the players that he needed to kind of self-correct some of the issues that this team has had. I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. Round 1 in a trade back scenario, Tyler Guyton. I think that this pick parlayed with Cooper Beebe makes a ton of sense. I even like that situation better than having Grant Barton. I do. I'm going on record saying that. And I think that what we aren't privy to, and I'm going to say this over and over again, is how the kid wants to work. When you hear him talk, the first thing he said was, I know that I'm better at left tackle. I have left tackle flex. I know that I need to get my hands clean. I think that with Guyton, let him get in the program. Let him get around Tyler Smith. He's honored to play for the Cowboys. You have some of these picks that are going to teams, they're not happy to be on their team. One for sure that I could just see it in his body language was Malik Neighbors to the Giants. And so not to compare, but Tyler Guyton is going to take this serious. He's going to get better. You heard Mike Solari say, the athleticism is everything that we're looking for. It's my job to coach it up. Tyler Guyton to me is a B-, not even grading it. I like what the Cowboys are trying to do because they say, you know what? We're going to keep Tyler Smith in the middle of our offensive line. We're going to work with Tyler Guyton, and we're going to protect Dak Prescott's blind side. I love this pick a lot, guys, and I've been consistent about that, especially in the trade down scenario. Marshawn Kneeland, round 2. This is a Zimmer special. And this lets me know that the front office is serious about Mike Zimmer. The front office is serious about stopping the run. This isn't a flash pick. This is a guy who there will be people, oh, he only had 4 sacks. We'll see your stat watching. You're not talking about the run percentiles, 99th percent. You're not talking about how high he was graded on Dane Brugler's board, how high Daniel Jeremiah had him. The athletic traits are off through the roof. You're not talking about what this allows Micah Parsons to now do. People got to understand that you have the best chess piece in the NFL in Micah Parsons. What this allows you to do with Kneeland, a guy who can play stout on rundowns, it allows you to pull Micah Parsons off ball. I love the Kneeland pick. I think that people need to take a step back, go watch some film, watch his hands, watch the block destruction. Watch Brian Baldiggers when he came out with his film session and he's talking about block destruction, he's talking about hands, he's talking about pressing, he's talking about playing that 5 technique at a high clip. That's what you want. It's not all about sacks. Mike Zimmer's scheme is not all about sacks, and I think that once we can get that through our head, this pick will make a lot of sense to people. But to me, it made a lot of sense on the draft show that I did with Sky and Voch. I said it before he was even picked, before he was even thought of. Marshawn Kneeland is in play here. I like that the Cowboys stayed true, got Mike Zimmer the defensive end that they need to continue to stop this run and be physical at the point of attack. Had Dallas not made the Kaylin Carson pick, I thought that this is the steal of the draft. I really do. Cooper Beebe, on some teams' boards, was the highest rated true pure guard on the board. Now, everybody's new thing is get a tackle, kick him inside, and I get that. But when you talk about Beebe, you talk about a guy, again, listening to Mike Solari, listening to Cooper Beebe talk himself. What he said, I like the dirt guys. Like, that's just how I like to play football. Go watch his film versus T'Vondre Sweat. You drafted him for the D tackles in this division. You drafted him for Jonathan, I want to say Jonathan Higgins. You drafted him for Dexter Lawrence. You drafted him for Carter in Philly. You drafted him for Jordan Davis in Philly. You drafted him for Johnny Newton in Washington. You drafted him for those players. You're not going to move him off his spot. He's going to get movement. My plan for him early, I'm thinking that you put him at center. Just having a big body at center, and he has that flex. I'm thinking that you put him at center early. You let him get movement in the run game, something that we haven't had in a long time, okay? And then you see what happens with Zach. I think Zach is probably 2 years away from walking away, depending on his training camp and if he can get back in shape. I thought Zach just didn't have a training camp last year, and it showed. So depending on what's going on with that, TJ Bass or Beebe will end up kicking a right guard to me. But the fact that you solidified your O-line in the first 3 picks, being able to fleece the league, being able to fleece Detroit, that's what makes this draft so special to me. Marist Liufau is somebody who I went on Skywalker Still Show, and I said, when he sees it, when it's clean, when his eyes are in the right place, he's a guy that has special upside. He can run to the ball. He's extremely smart. This is what you call a year away pick and a contributor year 1. So he's going to come in and he's going to watch how Kendrick works. He's going to watch how Kendrick prepares. He's going to watch how Kendrick calls the defense. He's going to watch all of these things in Zimmer's system. And then if there's an injury, if there's a situation that goes awry, if anything happens, you stick Liufau. And I think that he could play all 3 linebacker positions, the Will, the Mike, and the Sam. He has that flex. I mean, there's times that they line him up as a DN. But his position on this Cowboys team is going to be Mike linebacker in the future. That's just where I see him at. I see that type of character. I see that type of swagger. I got a really cool film session coming on Liufau. But to me, this guy, I wouldn't even call this a steal. I would just call this sticking in and picking. And again, I wrote this down on my piece of paper. This is a Zimmer pick. This is a Zimmer guy. This is a Zimmer linebacker. And to be honest with you, we'll talk about this as we go down the road. Damone Clark is probably in trouble. Between Cooper Beebe and Kaylin Carson, you guys flip a coin. My 2 steals of this class. Kaylin Carson, had it not been for the 40 time 4.52, I think that he would have probably been drafted in the 2nd to 3rd round. Go watch his film versus Keon Coleman. Physical, handsy. Now, I said it. I'm not going to back down from it. He's going to get flagged. Like, he's one of those types of guys. But over 120 tackles in his college career at DB. Not at DB, at corner. Physical guy, DMV guy. You guys heard the video before we started. He plays with a chip on his shoulder that you can't coach. You can't coach those type of chips. Another thing is, it's a scheme fit for what Mike Zimmer wants to do, because you see him in an off man position a lot. You see him as a bail corner, and people think, oh, it's easy to play cover 2. Even Voch, he was talking about it. He's like, why do people believe it's so easy to play cover 2 and be an off man soft deck type corner? It's not. You got to have your eyes right. You got to know when to come off of certain route schemes. You got to know when to come off of certain patterns. And I think that Kaylin Carson, if nothing else, helps you ease Trayvon Diggs back in the fold if he's not healthy. If there is another injury, if you don't bring back Stephon Gilmore, I think that Kaylin Carson can step in and help this team. Listen, you did it with DaRon Bland, so don't say it can't be done. Don't say it can't be done. You did it with DeRon Bland. I think that Kaylin Carson has some upside for this team this year. So for our late round mock-up, I'll call these guys the big three. I got them written down here. I actually got it written down as the big three. Ryan Flournoy, Nathan Thomas, Justin Rogers, Auburn, Louisiana, Southeast Missouri State. How about that? Flournoy was a Bruce Feldman, freaks list guy, 4'4" guy. The thing with Flournoy is it's just the athletic upside for me. I didn't see a great route runner. I didn't even have him as a draftable player. I won't be fair. He is not on this stack. So, I won't be fake. He's not on this stack. But special teams ability, Bones is going to get one of his guys. That's what the Cowboys do. Speed. Actually catches the ball and has yak ability. I didn't see the route run, I'll be honest. Now, Nathan Thomas is interesting because he said on his phone call he's going to kick in the guard. And you see a punishing, mauling run blocker. And that is what we were talking about earlier with some of these tackles who they'll probably be better suited as guards in the NFL or having a shot to play guard. And the size is out of this world. And then Justin Rogers, you talk about that one tech. I think that was the last guy that they didn't want to fight when it came to undrafted free agency. Throw numbers at the position. See what he can do as a one tech. See if he can just press centers. See if he can just sit in the middle of your defense. Now, Mozzie's going to do that. You drafted Mozzie last year to do that. But I think that with Rodgers and all my SEC fans, if nothing else, when you watch him, you see a guy who can at least press the pocket. If nothing else, that's what he can do for that Auburn. That's what he did for that Auburn defense, and he'll get a shot in camp to do that. So, with the big three, I'm not mad at that at all. Like when you take, and again, this is part of the theme. This is part of that theme, the physical grit type of draft. This was not a beautiful makeup and cake type of draft. And no matter what I say, I love the receiver position. This was not that type of draft, and I'm not mad at the Cowboys for drafting this way. I'm not mad at the Cowboys for playing this way and playing their cards this way. So it's your boy Foots. Thank you guys for sticking in with me this whole season, this whole draft season. We still got more to go. Y'all see my beautiful mic that's drawn all over. We still got a long way to go because we got camp battles. We got positional rankings. We got all these things that, if nothing else, if it turns out and it hits, I think the Cowboys front office will look smart with the way that they drafted and the way that their team built this offseason. Peace.